Hi, everyone. This is Sean from 8-Bit Shinobi, and we are here with our friend Darks, who's going to be talking about her virtual comic convention. We've got Chris, who's the voice of what are you the voice of for X-Men?
Quicksilver.
So he's the voice of Quicksilver for Undateable X-Men, and you have the many voices of Tyler, our friendly neighborhood Tyler man, who created the Undateable X-Men series. So we'll be talking about that. So first, we're Darts. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your comic convention?
Kanji Geeks at Home is a geek convention. So if it's something sort of not mainstream, it's going to be there. It's a virtual convention that runs February 21st to 23rd. We stream over Twitch Friday night, all of Saturday, and then Sunday morning to Sunday mid-afternoon. And it's run very similar to the way that we ran Kanji in person. So Kanji was a Guelph-based anime convention from 2009 to 2014. We took a break because we were only about 6 members of staff that ran it. And then during COVID and the lockdowns, we were like, oh, we need something. So in 2021, we ended up running it in February, and it's been pretty popular with the people that attend. So we've just sort of continued running it. So we have panels, we have some trivia games, we have Masquerade, which is a costume contest. We have Saturday morning cartoons on Sunday morning. So we find usually 80s or 90s cartoons that are available for free to watch on YouTube, and watch a couple of them while chatting through everyone. So it's a lot of fun.
Have you ever heard of Tubi?
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff on there too.
So the reason why we watch something off YouTube is because it is not streamed through our Twitch like all the rest of the convention is.
Okay.
We run a Discord server, so there's a watch Discord, like watch YouTube with Discord, so everyone can be in the Discord chat, and we have a YouTube link open, and we're all watching it the same thing, so we can comment on it, and people can mute people if they want to actually watch it versus just sit there and banter at it.
And I know YouTube has a lot of 80s stuff that are on there for free, which is amazing.
Yes. And usually we're only watching like one episode or the first episode. So it makes it pretty easy to find stuff.
What would be your favorite 80s cartoon?
My favorite 80s cartoon. Oh, geez, there's so many. And it's tough because like I can't really remember some stuff that was early 90s versus late 80s because a lot of them sort of overlapped a bunch. We really enjoyed watching. Last year we watched Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, The Vision of Escaflowne. We watched the Fox Kids version of it. Yeah. Vision of Escaflowne. We watched the Smoggies in the past, Captain Planet. Yeah, I'm an animation and cartoon. Love them all. So
yeah, it's hard to pick one.
Yeah, I was like, we watched X-Men. I think it was year 2 or year 3. We watched the first episode of X-Men. But yeah, that's sort of Kanji in a nutshell. It's free to attend, which is really nice. And we raise money for the Canadian Mental Health Association.
That's awesome.
So it's a fundraiser all weekend. So we sort of say, like, if you've enjoyed it and you would usually pay this amount of money for a pass to go to a convention, like toss us $5, toss us $10. And there's 2 ways to donate this year. You can either donate directly to the Canadian Mental Health Association through our portal link, so you can get a tax receipt back, or you can donate to our Ko-fi. So we take the profits from that, like website hosting and paying for prizes and whatnot. But yeah, that's
really nice. Like I worked as a child and youth worker, and we studied that, and I worked with a lot of kids that needed help. and it's a hard thing to struggle with.
Yeah.
Especially someone who's gone through it too, who's had family that's gone through it. It's not easy.
Well, and I think especially with a lot of, like, when we first started, because cosplayers were sort of our main focus and stuff like that, and a lot of them, their social time is at conventions, and like online is not the best. You'd much rather be in person, but it allows people like me who are parents and can't go away for the weekend to go to a con and stuff like that. We can join in for a couple hours while our kids are doing something else, and then leave, come back later. So it allows a really big flexibility. And anyone from Canada and the US, and we had someone watch from Germany one year.
Nice.
Most of our cosplayer, the people who enter the costume contest masquerade, the majority of our Ontario-based ones, but we have quite a number from Alberta and some from out east too, that enter, which is, it's kind of neat because you don't get to see those costumers, cosplayers at a convention, in Toronto, because they're.
It's also very beautiful out west. I've been there, and it's just so beautiful. And I'm going again to see Lincoln Park and see some old friends from high school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've kept in touch, but I've always said, we're going to do something. We're going to do something. And then I saw Lincoln Park was coming. I said, let's do it.
That's a good one to go see.
Yeah. So, Tyler, do you want to weigh in on comic conventions, your experience with conventions?
Yeah, I'm still kind of in the midst of understanding the whole online convention thing. I mean, I get it if you want to save gas or you have so much on your plate, but if those aren't factors, just kind of makes you really see why, though. Plus, I know COVID really bit us in the ass as far as socializing goes, so I get it. But maybe I personally am not the target audience for an online convention. It does seem like a great idea, though, but I would rather do in-person stuff.
And that's fair. And I mean, like, we are a free convention, so it's not like you're putting any money out of pocket to go, click it on for an hour or so. Like, we have some attendees that only come we run a drinks panel. And that's something we can't do at an actual convention unless you have a liquor license. But it's like
I'm sorry, what?
A drinks panel. So we did themed drinks. Like, one year we did the Owl House. Last year we did the Last Unicorn.
Oh, okay.
This year we're doing Reboot. So we're doing Reboot themed drinks, which are kind of...
Reboot like the TV show, or Reboot as in shows that are rebooted? No.
Reboot as in the animated show from the mid-90s.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's just sort of one of those ones that's like, this is kind of fun and different. A lot of our attendees put it on, like, when they're con crunching for, last year we were ahead of KatsuCon, this year we're after. But if you need something on the background, it's the same thing as like a podcast that you'd be listening to. And I'd like to think our panel quality is amazing. We have some very good panelists. And the one nice thing, like, when you go to an anime convention, like especially Anime North, the panel rooms are so small. So if you really, and again, it's like why you go to an anime or any comic book convention. If you're going there to see the guests and stuff like that, we're not your con. If you're going there to go do the dealer's room, we have a small artist alley spotlight and dealer's room in our Discord server, but we're not a merchandise con. So we're there strictly for panels and the community. So if that's something more up your alley, that's where our target audience is. So one of our panelists ran a panel, I think it was 2 years ago. It was like life lessons from Pokemon. And it was a fantastic panel. And then he went on to run it at Anime North.
Well, that's an interesting panel. Life lessons from Pokemon. I gotta ask, did Michael Vick attend that panel?
No.
No. Because it seems like something that would be up his alley. Rottweiler, I choose you.
I was going to say so what I was saying before, like Anime North, like if you went there to go see a panel, you have to wait an hour ahead to get into the panel. Same with some of the Fan Expo panels. Like, you're like, I'm sitting here wasting time or wasting my paid attendance badge just sitting in line to get into a panel, which someone's going to record and post up on YouTube anyway, if I really missed out on it. So we just sort of was like, well, you could come. The panel room has unlimited size. You can ask questions of the panelists through our chat. Same thing with YouTube Live. So you get some feedback that way too. Wouldn't it's so? I mean, like I love in-person conventions way more. Like I loved running Conji in person. It was amazing. But I had family obligations that I couldn't run it anymore.
Of course.
And couldn't attend a lot of conventions. Like I only just started probably going back to the con scene like last year with 1 or 2 cons, I think.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing a lot of bird noises.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my bird back there.
Oh, okay. Thought I was just going crazy.
He likes your guys' horses. I don't know.
That could be it. What I like about the virtual conventions is like with everyone's life being so busy, like sometimes you can only go to so many conventions. And that sounds like great, especially like having all these meetings and stuff. Like it's so much easier if we all say, let's meet on here. Because like I only have so many vacation days. I'm always working. Yeah. So it gets hard to go to all these places.
Yeah, but just because it's online doesn't necessarily change the date the convention goes on, does it? Like you're not going to have a convention in the middle of the week, are you?
No. But it's sort of one of those ones. It's not this is the be all end all. It's an option for other people to go that, you know, a lot of our attendees are ones who go to Anime North, Fan Expo, Comic-Con, Infernal, Pretty Heroes, YetiCon, like all those ones. It just gives another alternative for, you know, people to, you know, in the masquerade is like, it's actually less intimidating to go, you know, show off your costume at a virtual masquerade because you're watching yourself and you can read the comics and see all the positive feedback right away versus, you know, doing your thing on stage and then walking off and going, oh, geez, was that good? Was that not good? I'll have to wait till the video to see what it looks like.
That reminds me, mind if I do a little shameless promotion over here?
Go for it.
To any of you cosplayers out there that are looking to make a name for yourself, please reach out to me. I am looking for some cosplayers. It doesn't have to be in person. It could be online. Reach out to me. I am on Facebook under Tyler Brook. I also got Instagram, Tyler Brook 111. That's 2 O's and an E. Or just shoot me up on the old email, tylerbrook111@gmail.com. And don't forget to send me some of your pictures and or links to your cosplay stuff.
For what purpose?
I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say it's an upcoming project involving an animated series, and I will leave it at that.
Okay.
All right, sounds fun. Will you be needing any X-Men?
No, don't put on that.
Okay. I thought I'd try. I also do like.
If anybody wants to get into voiceovers, feel free to reach me out, as we could always use more understudies or more people that want to get into the Undateable X-Men series. But I must point out, it is an unpaid project, as Chris over here will tell you.
Yeah.
Does he pay you in jelly beans?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been trying to help put together this project with Tyler, getting more voice actors to come his way. Apply.
Yes, and thank you for that. Also, I didn't want to step on your spotlight earlier, but your actual list of voices you're doing are Quicksilver. You're also doing Trickshot from the circus episode, and you're playing yourself, in a manner of speaking, for the Genoshan Spring Break episode.
Correct. So I have a privilege given to me by this great guy. Gave me the opportunity to write and record a song for Is that am I
You're kind of coming in and out. But basically, he is one of the many artists who donated a song to me,
Yes.
for me, I should say,
Hmm.
for the
X-Men.
Ocean Spring Break episode. One of the good things about my project is that not only have we had a plethora of voiceovers, but we've also had animators, a good behind the scenes team, as well as people in the song department. Quick shout out to Mr. C for doing the theme song. And a special thanks to Sydney, who is currently hard at work at doing the second episode, Wolverine versus the Hulk, and is expected to air some point next week, hopefully Tuesday. But we're just trying to keep our fingers crossed and hope all goes well for her on her end.
And that's the link. It's in the description. Check out the first episode if you haven't.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Tyler, for stepping up and making this all possible.
I try, and honestly, I apologize to my viewers for taking so long. There were a couple of people that took advantage of my I didn't have a deadline policy, considering this was a pro bono project. I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not that type of a person. But what I will say is that moving forward, whatever project I'm doing, there will be deadlines. So if you want to work for me, expect a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
If you're uncomfortable with that, well, then I'll show you where the exit door is.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to put down your foot to get to that new level.
It's not a foot I feel comfortable putting down, but, you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or in this case, the one.
Yep.
Right.
But yes, this is an interesting take on a classic rivalry. So that instead of the battlefield, we're going to be facing the courtroom.
Oh, wow.
And subsequently to that, we have the next episode, which is an homage to a classic 50s film, 12 Angry Men, only this time it's 12 Angry Mutants, where Cyclops has to convince everyone, all of Wolverine's enemies, from Sabretooth to Avalanche to Omega Red to pretty much every other mutant enemy he has, that Wolverine is innocent on all guards. And it's funny that it's actually become a trope in many TV shows. King of the Hill, Family Guy, and my personal favorite rendition of it, Beavis and Butthead actually did it when they were older. So just something to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
So what can you tell us about the next episode of
The next one airing out, or that following episode?
the one coming up on Tuesday?
Okay, so that's Wolverine versus the Hulk. And for those of you that are Marvel fans but just enjoy watching the movies, Wolverine actually didn't make his debut in an X-Men comic. He actually made his debut fighting the Hulk. In fact, he was created to fight the Hulk. He could heal, he's stupidly durable, animalistic fighting style. Sounds like a good opponent for the Wolverine. But then I had a thought about it. Since this is essentially a parody thing, why don't we turn into the courtroom case? And essentially it became Wolverine, the Hulk is taking Wolverine to court for the property damage they both caused over the years.
Okay.
So who's going to pay out of pocket? Who isn't? Stay tuned.
Wow. That sounds really funny.
Yeah, we did have some recasting involved in that, mainly because of the delays and whatnot. But show must go on, and I am grateful for every single person who donated their lines for the first episode as well as the upcoming episodes.
Oh, we got a thumbs up.
How did that happen? I just gave a thumbs up and it popped up somehow.
Yeah, I was like, how did that happen?
Hold on, let me try it again.
Well, hang on.
Oh,
Lift $10 in the air. See what happens.
There you go. $10. Accio $10.
Damn, my Venmo account still shows nothing.
Let me try it again. Thank you. No, nothing.
No, that.
Uh,
So much for something working twice.
no.
But anyway,
So,
yeah.
Chris, can you tell us a little bit about Quicksilver?
I can tell you as much as Tyler allows me to tell me. I don't know if it's any secrets or anything.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you start talking about your role in this episode, and if you'd like me to chime in at any point, I can do so. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, and go.
From what I know, Quicksilver is getting a smaller role when it comes to this upcoming episode. I don't know what season it is, maybe season 2. And I believe he's at a dinner table, and then he orders something, and it's really, he's really funny about it because he's really quick and witty, and I think in this series he's going to be quick and witty, but he's also going to be like saying things that are kind of out of character to a normal X-Men show. It's kind of because it's a parody, you know. So if you hear these X-Men voices and you are expecting them to say what you expect them to say, but they come up with something really funny or maybe slightly adult, and it kind of catches you off guard in a good way, and it could be really funny. So
you more or less have it where he's actually going to make his debut towards the end half of season 1. The premise is that Nightcrawler is the Eki fan of the X-Men. He's got all this stuff lying around because cliche geekism. And since nobody can physically touch Rogue from the X-Men, any Shimoneta fans out there will tell you pretty much about Anna's character. And I gotta say, very nice job Heather did into creating this character. I ran everything by her. She said she had no problem doing this. She just became very lustful due to the fact that nobody can touch her. So it's just, think pent-up energy that's just waiting to explode.
wow.
And then eventually, Professor X is tired of this shit, so he sets them up with, funny enough, Magneto's kids. So, long story short, you got Mystique's 2 kids going on a date with Magneto's kids. I'm honestly surprised they never did this before in the comics.
That would have been interesting.
I mean, you got freaking retcons of Mystique being Nightcrawler's dad, but they didn't do this.
I really don't like those retcons that like make no sense and like that changes things that were established. You're like, because now it makes no sense why Nightcrawler has his so-called dad's powers. Azazel, right?
That I will agree on, but considering Mystique's abilities, that would make sense. But yeah, Azazel would make more sense. It's like you got the demonic teleporting abilities of Azazel, but you got Mystique's coloring. Which would have made more sense, but it's mutant genes, so go figure.
That's why I like anime a little bit more, because there's always one writer. It's not like 20 different writers and one person's like, I got an idea. Let's do something completely different that never would have happened.
Well, actually, that's not entirely.
It depends on the series.
I guess.
Doesn't Dragon Ball really have 2 writers? You got Toriyama, rest in soul, and you got Toyotaro. So it's like you technically had 2. Boruto had 1. You got some new guy, forgot his name, and then Kishimoto took over. So yeah, it really does depend on the series. But even then, anime still doesn't make sense.
Well, it's interesting. So we've been doing a deep dive. I've been doing research for a panel that I'm running at Kanji, and we've been looking at Escaflowne, which is a series from the early 90s. And we were talking about how there's an Escaflowne TV show, there's a manga, there's a shoujo manga and a shonen manga, and then there's a movie. And the only thing that is the same between them is that there's a mech called Escaflowne, is piloted by someone named Vaughn, and the chick is named Hitomi. And that's like the only thing that is the same between all four. And it was interesting because the original animated series was written at the same time as the original shonen manga. So these two creators were talking to each other like, this sounds like a really awesome series. I'm going to turn it into a TV show. And they're like, well, I'm going to turn it into a manga. And so it does, it like sort of starts off in the same way. And they just do this because they decided they wanted to take things in different directions, which is fascinating because it's the same property, but it's really not at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, when you look at any series, like how much of it is actually correct to the source material? Like, let's look at The Hobbit.
No, but I'm saying, but the source material are the two things at the same time. So there's divergent source material.
Oh.
Yeah, no. There was a creator that wanted to do a manga of it, and they were friends with the creator that wanted to do the series. And they said, we want to do this at the same time. So then like the manga would be released in the episode of the anime, and they're like, oh, it sort of did this. So it came out at the same time and had divergent stories.
Oh, then I guess the closest example to that would be Transformers. If you notice between the two, there's a lot of differences. Like, for starters, the mini cassettes that Soundwave deploys are actually capable of speech, that they just look like animals. But in any of the television show counterparts, they're roaring or squawking or doing any of the animal bits. Or in Generation 1, the Dinobots were made artificially on Earth, whereas opposed to the Marvel Comics, there was a pod that landed in the Savage Lands, and they scanned the native life forms there. So I guess that'd be like the closest thing to Escaflowne.
Yeah. It's just interesting because it's like you have one writer and then they adapt it to something else and it becomes more popular, like How to Train Your Dragon. Like the author, I can't think of her name right now, she made this book series and then DreamWorks took it in a completely different direction.
Well, they did the same thing with Shrek and the bad guys.
Yeah.
So you're not that far off. Like the only original property I can think of that they did was Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Maybe Madagascar, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I think that's an original one.
I can see that going either way.
Yeah, they stuck closer with Wild Robot, the newest one, but even then they changed a number of things about it.
And then there's Disney that does literally nothing correct with the source material.
True.
But I mean, it's one of those, it depends on what your audience is, right? Like, so sometimes when you take something from one, like Hans Christian Andersen, the kids today are not going to want to read Hans Christian Andersen when they were first published. Like, they're not the same target demographic whatsoever. So you do have to change some things in order to be a successful property, because really at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to be able to sell your movie or sell your book.
This industry, you really got to focus on that. Like the only one, like the real time they really got dark was Hunchback of Notre Dame, which even compared to the original source material was tame. You gotta say, very impressed that Disney was willing to go that route. But then they just kind of went back to being child friendly.
Well, that's what makes the money at the end of the day. Disney, that's all that Disney cares about, really. At the, look at Wish, the abomination that came out that was animated that was supposed to celebrate their 50th.
Please don't remind me. It's a literal
animation milestone. You're like, I'm pretty sure most of that script was written by AI, and the leaked script that they have of what it was actually supposed to be is.
They were just trying to fit as many Disney references as they possibly could at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But that's all it really was.
I watched it on Disney Plus and I still feel ripped off. Well, I guess we paid for it.
I watched it on my sister's account and I feel ripped off. What does that tell you? I'm not even paying for that shit.
Well, technically, my wife pays for it, so.
Yeah, but you have a joint account, so.
No, we don't.
Oh. Huh.
That's just the way we've done things, and we're like, it works. We transfer each other money to pay for whatever needs to be paid, and
well, regardless, I think we can all agree that a lot of the Disney programming has kind of gone downhill.
Oh yeah,
from what it once was. What you call it? Frozen 2, Moana 2, Wish. What's the one where they're on an alien world?
Moana 2 was supposed to be a TV show.
Yeah.
That's the biggest writing with Moana 2. They're like, hey, we're going to do this series on Disney Plus. Oh, wait, Disney Plus is not making us money. Oh, well, screw that. We're just going to try to condense a whatever 13-episode series into a 2-hour or hour-and-a-half movie. So all the characters we introduce, we no longer want anything to do with them. We just want to say, hey, this is a character. Move on.
Okay, yeah, but it's as part of the Disney animated movie lineup, so it counts.
Oh, no, 100% it counts. But I'm just saying, like, it's hard to blame, like, the writers in that stance because that was definitely a higher-up decision.
If we're going to be honest about latest Disney projects, Raya and the Last Dragon would have worked better if it was like a mini series or something, and they didn't cast Awkwafina in it.
Yeah. It's one of the better ones out there. At least the animation studio was down in California, and those animators were actually paid, unlike Moana 2, because it was the Vancouver studio.
Well, so yeah, but it's no Big Hero 6.
No.
I'm shocked that Upside Down, Inside Out is actually good.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, we have Disney Plus, and I liked it.
I liked it, but I felt like when at the end I was like, I don't really know how I should feel about this. Like,
I would like to see them make a movie about it, but it's with Riley's son, so that way we can see what goes in the mind of a teenage boy.
No.
I was like, I feel like that's not Disney appropriate.
No. They had kids turning into donkeys and actually saying ass and drinking and smoking. I think we can get away with the teenage boys' dirty thoughts.
I don't know about that. I was like, maybe your teenage thoughts were very tame compared to a lot of teenage boys I knew.
Oh boy, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, with the stuff Disney's coming out with, I think we can give movies a little leniency, like The Black Cauldron. I mean, yeah, Disney was getting experimental, but when you look at the stuff we have now, maybe we were a little too harsh on them.
But you're looking at it from a different eye. Like that's always the thing is like, depending on what your main audience, if you're not the main audience, it's not going to grab you the same way. Like a lot of the animation projects in the 80s, like Last Unicorn or
the Transformers the movie.
The Transformers the movies, like,
well, I guess
they're dark. Like, we definitely were scarred as child kids watching some of that stuff for sure.
I mean, Harry Potter can get pretty dark too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it got really dark near the end, like when he became a teenager.
But that makes sense because the first book was written for 8 to 10-year-olds. By the time the last book was out, those kids are now like mid-late teens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So life gets darker. The older you get exposed to more evils, and that's what happened to Harry Potter. I think, like more and more, or less and less PG-13. Less PG, then it goes PG-13. Then it goes rated R, and you're like, oh, this is now appropriate.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, maybe if you were to go back in time, you might feel differently. But
they didn't. I mean,
I watched movies too, so
I think PG-13 is a newer rating because that didn't exist in the 80s. No, that didn't exist in the 80s.
Oh.
That's why there's lots of these movies that you're like, man, this is PG. I didn't think this would be PG. And you're like, oh, It's because it was like PG and then R. There was nothing in between.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the turkey bacon of movies. It's like it didn't exist in the 80s, but now we got to make it to appease some of the parents.
Turkey bacon's delicious. I mean, there's some good PG-13 movies out there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of rated R movies that are, I would say, I mean, rated R movies back then are PG-13 movies today.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think it depends on
For some
because
reason, I can see that going the other way around. Like the PG-13 movies back then would be the R-rated today.
no. I don't know.
PG-13 didn't exist back then. But I mean, like, if you look at James Bond, like some of the original James Bond movies, and you watch them, and you're like, this is that. I mean, you know, like there's some concept topics of conversation that are different than our general thing, like smoking up the wazoo and, you know, this and that. But you're like, you know, it's pretty tame compared to some of the stuff that is out now in terms of just the graphicness of things, because they didn't have the budget to show half that stuff back then.
I mean, I honestly don't see the appeal of it. I mean, not the appeal of it, like why it would be so controversial. It's something that happens all the time anyway. It's not like we're showing two animated characters getting busy or something.
True. I mean,
and if you take your kid to any major city, you're going to at least see one person smoking.
I mean, really, the smoking thing, it's more the attitudes towards other ethnic people, groups of people, or the sexism that is very rampant in, say, for example, early James Bond movies. You don't really want to expose your kids to that kind of stuff without the context of it was a time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just referring to like overall smoking and drinking in general.
Yeah, no, that if they live in a home with that, they're going to be exposed to that anyway. So
I mean, it's not like they're hermits or they just stay there until they're like 21 or something. But that's just me.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's a lot of people that can relate to what you're saying, though.
But I think really at the end of the day, studios shouldn't be as obsessed with this particular movie needs to be this rating, so we need to have XYZ. It's like, let the storyteller tell their story the way that they want to, and then get the rating that story deserves. Not, okay, let's add more gore to make it R so that we'll attract the R audience, or let's cut out all the things that are a little bit risque to make it PG-13 or PG.
Well said.
Funny story. I was watching an interview with Schwarzenegger, and he was talking about Predator, and he was saying originally they wanted the chick that was in it to be a love interest, and for them to do it in the jungle. He's like, how the hell are we gonna get it on when this thing is in the jungle trying to kill us?
I mean, I believe that. You're like, oh, I'm gonna die anyway. Let's go.
I guess.
I don't know. I do a little celebratory fucking afterwards.
I mean,
Can you say a word here? Screw it. I already did.
Huh. There's been a lot of like end of the world movies where like people would hook up at the very last second, you know, or the very last minute. They're like, oh shit, it's the end of the world. Might as well do it. Or just might as well do that one thing I've always wanted to do. It's my last day of whatever. Same with like Groundhog Day style movies. People just doing whatever they want. There's no tomorrow, or there's only today, or I don't know.
I feel like that was an animated movie, though.
What?
No, just exactly what you're saying. Like,
I mean, I'm sure there is.
Anyway, ...
Yeah, I mean, it's a really common theme, like a story to do. It's just the same day repeats over and over. It's the Groundhog Day style of.
Wasn't it The Girl Who Leapt Through Time?
I believe so, yeah.
I think that's what the one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just
Back to what you were saying earlier, Miyazaki actually kind of follows this pattern. even half the time when he's just animating, he doesn't even have a story in mind. He just lets his animations tell the story. Whether it's for Mononoke, Spirited Away, Totoro, whatever. He
Yeah,
just lets the animations tell the story.
you just get when you're writing, sometimes you can get into like a flow state, and when you get into that flow state, you just start creating and creating and creating, and eventually you just take a step back. You're like, oh, I'm done. And it's like, wow, what did I create? It's so cool. The adventure is so chaotic, and it worked somehow. And whenever you accomplish something, a creation, it just feels really good. Even if you use the flow state, even if it looks a little chaotic, you can still go back and structure it, and sort it out.
Well, in my experience, when you're not writing, a lot of my best ideas actually come for X-Men or any of the multitude of projects I'm currently working on happen in my everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's an idea. Here's an episode I have for an upcoming X-Men episode. There's a character called Nitro. His whole ability is that he blows up and then he reconstitutes himself. So that's kind of like a Groundhog's Day situation for you right there. But then I figured, why not take this to a step further? He gets so offended by everything that every time he gets slightly offended, and the more offended he gets, the greater an explosion he creates. So we actually start the episode off in the Friends of Humanity with Sabretooth's kid running the meeting like he usually does. Then he finds himself in the meeting and then basically kills all of them by blowing himself up because he was offended during the meeting.
One bad joke.
It started off that way, but then the more they explain it,
What?
and then it's like, did you assume our gender? You're saying muties, that's
What?
our term. You can't use that term. Are you tone shaming me? And then it literally builds up from there. That's like literally the whole running gag of the joke. There's actually another scene where he's in front of a cliche Italian restaurant where he's offended by the caricature of the Italian mascot, the fact that somebody's asking if there's pasta in an Italian restaurant, like that's all Italians eat. They just keep building it up. And eventually the X-Men form an unlikely alliance with the MRD to catch this mutant.
I was like, do they actually have Italian places that don't serve pasta? I don't think they do.
Oh, my experience, Bubba Goose doesn't serve pasta.
Hey, you learn something new every day.
And Taco Bell. And Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's.
No. I was like an Italian-based eatery that doesn't serve pasta. Not just any restaurant.
Oh, then yeah.
Sorry.
Get back to me. Although that would be weird. That's like going to a Japanese place without seeing sushi. But
Those
yeah,
exist, though.
they're
Very
rare.
rare.
But the point is, the whole episode is a literal parody against cancel culture. And because, for those of you that have seen Beast Wars, Toad is our designated waspinator, where every time he appears, you have to find a way to kill him off. So they basically throw Toad on Nitro as he's getting ready to explode, like the way the military people do when they're trying to cover themselves with a grenade. Also, fun fact: if you look up,
Waspinator didn't die that many times.
yeah, there's actually a funny joke about that. The fans inadvertently saved his life. He was originally supposed to be killed at the end of season 1 with Scorponok, but the fans loved him so much that they decided to kill off Pterosaur instead.
That was a good call.
Just so he can die another day.
But he survives all the way to the end of Beast Machines. He's the only Predacon to do so. Spoilers.
I mean, technically Black Arachnia and Silverbolt, but they switched sides.
But they didn't start on the first episode of Beast Wars. First
That
episode
is
Beast Wars
true.
to the end of Beast Machines. Wow, Spinator's the
Well, I
only
thought you
president
meant
on this
anybody
side.
that was affiliated with that side. Okay, well then, yeah. Although you kind of have to feel bad for him. He seemed happy at the end of Beast Wars. No, the universe hates
until he got his brain
Waspinator,
back.
but we sure love him.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway. So Justin Evans, the guy that is voicing Toad, I asked him to kind of do like a combination of Gollum meets Waspinator, and so he gave that unholy abomination that is the voice of Toad. But he executes it really well. And not only is he doing Toad, but he's also doing Beast, Banshee, and Juggernaut. Ba-da-ba.
I'm laughing at you, Chris. You keep changing locations. It's like I look over. I'm like, oh, where are we now?
I know,
We're doing the
right?
Grand Tour.
He's trying to show off his Quicksilver speed.
Yeah, the
Can I help
Quicksilver. Yeah, I was just trying to get comfortable. I'm visiting my parents right now, so found a room just to tuck away and like by a bed. Just like here I am.
I'm lucky my parents just live half an hour away from the city.
That's good.
They have like 5 acres of forest.
Wow.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
And it's right near the water park. But if it weren't so damn expensive, I would have just been like, let's go to our parents' bike over there and not pay for parking.
Oh, by the way, I'm writing a script for a superhero wizardy like film. It's called Fun Wizard.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I created this character called Fun Wizard, and I actually created him originally on the video game called DC Universe Online. You ever heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Well, what does Fun Wizard do exactly?
Okay, so he's a superhero and he's a wizard. He kind of just grabs a weapon out of like portals. He opens portals and he fights spiritual monsters, I would say, that I just made up, honestly. And he kind of like, his power is basically sorcery and combat, just being really good with all the weapons. And
So basically the wizard version of Rick Sanchez.
yeah, the wizard like superhero version of Rick Sanchez. Yeah.
Does he have an alcohol problem?
No, he doesn't.
Well, he's a wizard, so he's smoking.
He smoke a little bit every now and then, maybe drink a little bit every now and then, but yeah, I've been writing a script. It's kind of turning into a bit of a comedy. It's gonna have a lot of sex jokes. Be really funny. It's definitely not PG. It might be, I would say, rated R. Yeah,
I mean, unless you got some really shitty parents, then I guess technically everything is PG.
that's right. Yeah, I mean, it could be good parents can give you rated R movies. You know,
I watched RoboCop when I was a kid.
I mean, shame on you. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I was like, my kids just watched Pacific Rim.
Oh
Which is-
no.
And they're 8 and 9. Because Pacific Rim is like awesome. And we're like, we should watch this. And we're watching. We're like, there's a little bit more language than we thought there was in this movie, but that's okay. It's the end of the world. But that language would be acceptable at the end of the world.
I saw Animal Farm in high school. That's kind of R-ish.
What was it?
Oh, we read and watched Dracula.
Wow.
Which version?
What's Dracula?
The one with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah, that one's kind of tame.
Oh wow.
I was like, yeah, no. Like I said, back early 80s, mid late 80s, the
At least it's
the
not
rating
the Twilight
system was a
Force.
little different.
what's the line? Where do you think should draw the line when it comes to inappropriate jokes, or what is inappropriate now?
I would say as long as you can tell it and the kids don't understand it, you can get away with it.
Yes, that's probably what it is.
Like there's a
Yeah.
scene in Shrek where
Yeah.
Shrek and Donkey see the building. It's like maybe he's compensating for something.
Yes.
We didn't know it then. We know it now.
Yeah.
You can get away with it.
Yep. You're so right.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if you have good writing, you have the storyline that's down here, and then you have the storyline up here to entertain the parents who are having to sit through the child
Right.
themed movie.
Of course, when you're high, anything's good.
True. To an extent.
Yeah, I
I
was
just
like,
think not all
not
the
everything.
Ink series. Last night when I got stoned, and yeah, that was pretty good. It's like, oh yeah, so that's why people watch it. And then again, Seth
Sorry,
Rogen.
what's I was going to say, I mean, I drank a lot of alcohol and consumed a lot of alcohol to watch the reboot, The Guardian Code, and it still did not make it at all.
So it's a reboot of the series called Reboot.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It's
It
called The
was-
Guardian Code. It is awful. It was awful.
Well, I mean,
Wasn't
Because
it
the-
basically just about boring generic teenagers that got the power to be in the computer world? That's all it was.
Essentially what happened is the Rainmaker, I think, who owns the rights to Reboot, they're like, this is the most popular IP we have, but this is my favorite. So I'm going to re-release this, but call it Reboot and mash the two together so that no one is happy.
well,
And
I
then
mean,
tell
not-
the animators that we're gonna animate it in the Unreal Engine, and then you don't need lighters and you don't need this, and then it's just gonna look bad too.
well, not including comic franchises. Statistically speaking, all reboots are shit. There were a couple of good ones, but if we had to put that number to a percentage, I would say at least 10% of all reboots are actually worth your time.
That's
There's a
probably
lot of
fair.
Batmans out there.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying not including like the animated DC Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like there's like a shit ton of animated Batmans, a shit ton of Spider-Man, a couple
Yeah.
of Superman. I mean, Christ, Harley Quinn's getting her own series, and
True.
that show is
She's had her own series for a while. It's pretty good.
yeah, it's kind of going downhill as of now. I mean, the roller coaster was fun for a while. First, really enjoyed the first season. Second season, yeah, okay, it's not as good as the first season, but still enjoyable. 3, it's like, do I still like this ride? And then 4 and 5, it's like, okay, yeah, I think I want to get off now.
I don't think I've seen the newest. The
No, you
newest
should
stuff.
do is just smoke a little bit and then keep watching it, and maybe
Yeah.
you'll get.
Possibly, but honestly, Hit Monkey and Creature Commandos are some of the stuff I've been watching. That's really good right now.
What is that on?
Creature Commandos is on Max along with all the other DC properties, and Hit Monkey is on the Hulu or Disney Hulu bundle.
Got it.
Or there's the Pirate's Life.
What, like Caribbean or One Piece? Pirates of the Caribbean.
Either one.
No. Pirate Bay.
Okay.
All aboard the pirate ships.
Pirates, yeah,
I mean,
pirates.
Because all the
Considering
series,
One Piece is taking a 6-month hiatus, soon to be less than 3 months actually at this point. Can't
feel
really
like-
blame anybody for that.
I feel like there's certain movies that are better in certain seasons. You know, like if you're gonna watch Pirates of the Caribbean, it's got to be during like a time where it's good to go to the beach. It's like watching it during the winter, just
yes.
Same. Not the same.
That means Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yes,
Huh.
it is. So is Batman Returns.
I guess it would make Spider-Man a Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. They do have Thanksgiving. Yeah, the Tobey Maguire one. I think they had Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they had Thanksgiving in the Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah,
He had to beat off an old lady with the stick.
Yeah. Harry Potter is considered a Christmas movie.
There's some debate on that, but I can see why it'll be there.
I mean, the first three.
I mean, it was released at Christmas. All of those ones were released at Christmas. It's like Lord of the Rings. It's kind of a Christmassy movie because that's when it was released. So you're like, go to the theater,
that's
go
also
see
when
Lord
the
of the Rings.
Fellowship. That's when the Fellowship actually does take place.
Really?
Yeah, the Fellowship was formed on December 25th.
Oh,
Huh.
Plus, they have elves and deer and shit in there. So
deer and shit. Just deer.
and elves and bearded men
and elves.
and giant octopus monsters.
Yeah, I mean,
What did you guys think of the War of the Rohirrim movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
So
We were supposed to go see it in theaters. We were like, oh, we're going to go see it in theaters. And then it was like, and now it's out of theaters. We're like, oh, that doesn't bode well.
Yeah, it was a special release thing. It's on Amazon currently.
Oh, I have that.
Okay.
Well, paid Amazon.
Damn it.
and on,
Yeah, it's on Prime. It's
Yeah.
on Prime.
Oh, I have Prime.
But you got to pay for it.
Oh, you have to pay extra?
Oh, is it
Yeah.
like the bonus Prime thing? I hate when they do that. You're like, yes, I have Prime. I can watch it. No, I can't.
right.
Well, there's
Like,
only
And then you go,
pirates.
oh, going on the pirate ship. Going on the pirate ship.
I mean, that's how I'm able to catch up with half the shit, unless Disney starts feeling like sharing their passwords again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That Netflix. I think Netflix did that too.
Yeah, it did. I had to watch Squid Game with my dad.
Yeah.
Which, I say the second season was enjoyable, but the bad thing is he wants to watch it in English. So it's kind of like, you ever see Speed Racer or Kimba the White Lion, where the mouths don't exactly match up with the words?
Yeah.
Really,
But sometimes
felt like
that's part of the charm. I mean, anyone who grew up watching original Godzilla, like that was the that was the bomb.
Whoa, you think so?
Early Jackie Chan movies, I think they were dubbed too.
I think Bruce Lee was. Jackie Chan, I can see that going either way.
Any foreign film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok or War of Ragnarok?
The foreign film that's in like Sweden, I think.
Oh, no, then no.
Not the
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
the TV show. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Ragnarok.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I
is
know
that when? I have seen that one.
Yeah.
It's the comedy one, right?
Mm,
Is it the comedy one?
so
I think that's Meet the Johnstons or Johnsons or whatever.
yeah, it's not the one I'm talking about. There's something called Ragnarok,
Okay.
and I think it's a Sweden, maybe. It was filmed in Iceland or something, but
Well, speaking of Iceland, how do we feel about the new How to Train Your Dragon movie?
I didn't know there was a new movie.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the live action one?
That would be the new one.
Wait, what?
Well,
Yeah.
I have no interest in live action.
There's
Yeah.
a trailer for it.
Is it real?
What's your
I
take
think
on
we
it, Tyler?
I think we can file it under movies that don't need to exist.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, why not, instead of rehashing movies that obviously did well, why not do live action movies of underwhelming movies so we can give them a chance for redemption? Treasure Planet, Atlantis Lost Empire. Those would be great movies to see live action.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do freaking Lion King live action, you might as well get peanut butter under a lion's mouth. Have him talk like fucking Mr. Ed.
I mean,
Simba! Simba!
oh gee.
I swear
no,
those
the-
old
the-
movies with animals talking are better than that. Like Homeward Bound and other movies that
I
I
mean, it's like they're there. There are obviously no voices coming out, but the animals don't move their mouths at all.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's because you know it's fake, so you don't hit that uncanny valley territory where you're like, it kind of looks real, but it kind of doesn't. So now I don't like it. It's too close. Don't like it.
They should create a Crypto the Superdog like movie.
Or unless you want to go the Babe route, It's like they do use real animals, but it's kind of pick and choosy when they move their mouths.
Yeah.
No, they used puppets on Babe. They
Oh.
did puppets, they did CG, and they did live action animals with Babe. That's why it looks so good. Is they did the Jurassic Park trick of majority of the stuff you see is an actual puppet, and then the distance stuff or like slight tweaks is the CG stuff.
That would explain that.
Wow.
I don't get how puppets
Because you can
and
get-
toys look so much better than the CG today. Like I'm watching original Star Wars with my daughter, and she's like, "Wow, that's so cool," and I'm like, "Those are toys."
Yeah.
Money?
It's because most of the people who were doing VFX, like VFX in terms of like special effects, like miniatures, maquettes, puppets, etc., had to go through a level of film school that they would know what it would look like on camera. And everyone sort of understood, like the director understood what it was going to look like in camera because they had it physically there. Now you get directors that are like, oh, we'll fix it in post. And it's very obvious what movies do it that way because the CG looks awful. Because they don't have a concept of what the CG is going to look like. So they don't set up the screens properly. They don't have proper lighting cues, filming backplates to get an idea, to give the VFX artists something to work with. Whereas movies where the director was a VFX artist to start with, those movies have very good effects, generally speaking, because they are better at seeing what's going to look better on camera.
Hey, I'm not sure if you have something on your table, but I think your cat is messing around with it.
Yeah, I think I have a cat on the table. It's probably going to go after and watch the bird.
Yeah, I mean, Lord of the Rings definitely nailed
Or
it.
go after my flowers.
And that was like
But I mean, like-
early 2000s, and it's so much more real than things now.
But you also have to, a lot of the VFX stuff is rushed now too.
Yeah, because they have deadlines they want to meet, which as a producer and businessman, I understand. But as a fan, it does kind of annoy me.
I think there's
But
a lot
there's
of
the
problems
realistic expectation.
with...
It's the realistic expectations. Like you look at The Life of Pi, which was, touted for its visual effects, and that visual effects studio went bankrupt before they won the Oscar for visual effects because they didn't pay them.
Really makes you think, doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a good note to go on, though.
Well, yeah, but you'd prefer to continue your job with and be like, "This is my Oscar-winning studio."
At least you went down.
Yeah.
At least you went down winning. I mean, that's definitely a good thing they got going on right there. I mean,
Well, I guess that's on a high note. Your name is out there, and people are like, "Oh, you did that movie. I think we're gonna hire that guy."
yeah, I think it's something else we need to consider are the companies themselves. Well, let's look at the two Jungle Books that were released in the 2010s. You got the Disney one that's almost exclusively CGI. Do you know that is basically all CGI? And then you got the Netflix
it's a green screen
one.
with the kid.
Thank you. It's a green screen with the kid. And then you got the Netflix one that really knew how to use the CGI. I mean, obviously, they both did the story as well as they could. Since you're working with Andy Serkis, who's definitely the king of CGI, he did a better job with the facial stuff with the animals. But Disney...
But that's probably... I think it's because they used Weta, I think, for their mocap system, and they're top notch for the mocap stuff.
Yeah, I believe so. And as for Disney, they made the animals a little more realistic looking. At least as realistic you can make them anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, there was one in the early 2000s with I forget the guy's name, but he was in the Bruce Lee movie. He played Bruce Lee in Legend of the Dragon. That one looked a lot better than the
Wait, is that
Disney.
the one where Mowgli was Asian for some reason?
Yes, that one.
Oh
And he
yeah,
was like
I
all
remember that
grown
one.
up. It felt
Oh, I
more
don't
like
remember that one.
Tarzan than the
Kind
jungle,
of did.
and a little bit of what's it called? Trying to think. With Harrison Ford, like those traps and all that.
Indiana Jones.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
Oh,
It kind of reminded me of that, like the sand trap and all that. And I'm like, it gave me those vibes.
I
Fuck
think most
Indiana Jones. Put a woman in, make her gay and lame.
That's why the last movie sucked.
For those of you that don't know, that was a reference to the South Park Pandaverse special. Definitely check it out if you haven't.
that sounded like a Cartman voice.
It was. It was
Yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy, but she looked and sounded like Cartman in drag.
Wow.
And they couldn't tell the difference.
What episode was that?
It was a special, actually. It's on Paramount Plus.
The Christmas special or the
No, it was the
The
Pandaverse.
Panderverse.
Panderverse?
Yeah, the whole thing is that they're pretty much making fun of Disney for pandering by changing all the characters by either ethnic bending or race swapping or whatever.
Yeah.
Like up to the point where they have another universe that's all women of color.
What?
Dude, I shit you not. This is a real thing. The overall theme of it is laziness, but definitely is special. Worth checking out.
Wow. Definitely will check it out. Yeah, I'm still surprised that you guys haven't heard of DC Universe Online.
You know, I have, and I'm really not sure what direction DC is going anymore. I mean, it's like you got good stuff with.
I don't think they know.
It's like you got the Creature Commandos and the second Suicide Squad, but at the same time, you're getting a downgrade of Harley Quinn and that Joker Filet a Douche movie or whatever it's called, Filet a Deux. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. It's French something.
I don't know.
The one with Lady
I
Gaga.
can't think
Joker.
of what it's called.
Oh, Joaquin
It's the
Phoenix?
musical one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I
It's the
don't know.
musical.
I cannot pronounce it. It's something French. French isn't my forte, but the point is that didn't do well. But then again, Marvel isn't really doing much better. If you ask me, I think we need to the whole business industry needs to take a break from Marvel and DC and start focusing more on your Image comics, your IDW, your Dark Horses.
I like that. I agree.
Pick IPs that don't have a lot of background so that you can just have original stories. That would be nice.
Give us a turtle movie.
I know that Scott Pilgrim, when it came out, was fairly new, and it didn't do well. But after that, it got a cult following. Like,
I want to see a Thundercats movie. Make that happen, please. Okay, you can do Captain.
Maybe if the Thundercats reboot had done better than what it did.
Well, hang on. There were two
Maybe.
reboots. Are you talking about the Teen Titans Go-esque one or the good one?
No, not that one. That doesn't exist. No. the
well,
good one where you're like, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 seasons, but the first one was like, this is good. And then you're like, they don't know where they're going with this.
No, they just had the one
So then
season that kind of ended on a cliff note.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a shame because it had phenomenal voice acting. Honestly.
Yeah. The animation was pretty good too. Because I'm getting mixed up with Voltron because Voltron was really good, and then they switched the original directors, and then you're like, this is not the story I paid for.
oh yeah, I was like, where are they going with this?
All right, here's a question for y'all 80s kids. Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms. It's been confirmed, but do we see it?
I'm done. I'm done with all that.
With what? Sorry.
Idris Elba, Man-at-Arms.
Oh yeah.
Do you like that casting?
I think that would be an acceptable casting.
I would have liked to see
But
Nick
I like that
Offerman
actor.
personally. I think Nick Offerman would have been a better choice.
I was like, I tend to reserve castings until that we actually see them, because there's lots of things that I'm like, I definitely would not have seen them in that role, and then they do it, and you're like, all right, I have no complaints about that character in that role.
Yeah, okay. Of course, now that I have, I can shit on Halle Bailey for Little Mermaid.
Don't get me started on that.
Of course, seeing how
I
far
think
apart
the-
her eyes are, she makes a good mermaid.
Wasn't she
I was going to say,
Catwoman?
I think there's more. No,
You're thinking of
there's
Halle
two
Berry.
different. There's two different
That's
ones.
said, right?
There's Holly Berry, and yeah, they're
Halle.
not related. They're not the
Yeah,
same
like
person.
there's Michael Jordan
Halle.
and then Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Although I gotta say, as shitty as that Space Jam movie was, I am glad that they made that joke.
Hmm.
That was the only good thing about it.
That and when they were following
Rick
Rick
and
and Morty
Morty?
episodes, no, it's okay. They killed themselves. Yeah, they really wanted to. They welcomed death. And then they further on said, I swear it's going to take forever. It's like at least 10 Space Jam cameos.
Hmm. Do you think the Looney Tunes are just over now?
Dude, they've been around since like what, the 30s?
I think they're actually
They're
falling
never
off.
going to be over.
I think they're falling off.
Well,
I mean, if
it
they
would help
bring
if
back
DC
Looney-
actually released the movie that's completely made with Wile E. Coyote.
Or if they
Instead
did
of
a
tossing
Lobo
the vault
movie.
and claiming the insurance. No, they have the Wile E. Coyote movie is completely finished. All of the animation was done. All of the voice acting was done. Everything was done. And they're like, we don't think it's going to make enough money, so we're going to lock it in the vault and claim that it was never produced so that we can claim insurance on it.
So they basically lost money. Or did they break even?
I don't know exactly the details behind it, but it sucks for all those actors and animators who are like, I can't put that on my resume because it doesn't exist.
Right.
I hope they got paid up front at least.
They probably got paid, but most studios, you get extra bonuses if the movie does well in theaters and stuff like that. Unless you fire them, because that's what Inside Out 2 did. Disney fired all the animators that worked on that show before they released it.
Disney
So they're
is
like,
rather
oh yeah, all
cutthroat.
those extra. Yeah, they're like, oh, all those extra bonuses that you were supposed to get if this hit theaters and did well. Yeah, you don't get them because you're fired.
That's why I hate
The
working.
animation industry is really tanking right now.
What?
It's
It
not
really
good.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a couple friends who are in animation. They're like, I can't get a job. Yay.
Oh,
because all the studios were.
I'll have them reach out to me. I'm actually working on a couple of animated series, and I'm always looking for animators.
Okay, I will do that.
Which, speaking of,
I was going to
if
say, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
Anyway,
go.
which, speaking of, I will be releasing the Kickstarter for a brand new project I'm working on. That's going to be on my Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you follow me there, and you'll know as much as I can tell you. It's actually going to be involving Rickman, who did my podcast logo. He's been on the show before, on your show specifically.
Yeah.
But for X-Men, he's doing a couple of characters, including, but not limited to, Nightcrawler, Hulk, and Captain America.
Nice.
Nice. Speaking of X-Men, did you happen to watch that show I recommended, Marvel What The?
I really couldn't get into it. I gave it the college try.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, the What If?
No,
No,
what?
it's called What The.
No.
It's like
The?
Marvel's
Oh.
version of Robot Chicken.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Robot Chicken just needs to be its own thing. People gotta stop making robot chickens.
What is that show?
You mean Marvel What The?
Yeah.
It's a YouTube channel where it's like a parody.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And they like over exaggerate Wolverine's amnesia, where Professor X is like, I've been calling you, Logan. You were supposed to pick me up. And he's like, I can't remember anything. Weapon X. And he tries to use his amnesia to get out of shit. And he's like macking on Jean, and Cyclops is like, Jean's my girl. And he's like, I'm sorry, Scott. I mean, whoever you are. Weapon X messed up my memories. I can't remember anything.
Didn't they do a movie like that a while back with Adam Sandler? They were in Hawaii. He was at an aquarium or something.
Oh, yeah.
51st States. That was it.
It's, I don't think it's the same thing, bro.
No, the girl it was basically Groundhog's Day for that girl over and over again.
Mine would her memory night pretty much. Just to live the same thing over. So I guess so, but it was like everyone was pretending like what's that movie with
Truman Show.
Truman Show. Yeah, it was kind of like kind of designed their own show as like a way, like a therapy to help her fit in, for mind not to go crazy. But, yeah. Or like.
And there was a few times where she caught on, but she doesn't remember.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah. So
sometimes I wish my wife had that problem, because she wouldn't remember what I said to her mother-in-law, to my mother-in-law.
Oh, they'll always remember.
Like that.
I don't know how, but they'll always remember.
Oh, wow.
I'm just lucky my mother-in-law loves me more than my wife.
I thought that
platonically, right?
Yeah, she's like, when I go over, she makes me a special salad. She doesn't make it for anyone else.
If she loved you, she'd be making a steak.
Is there poison in this salad?
Oh, she does make other things, but like she makes that salad.
It's like, this is only for you. No one else is allowed to have that. I'd be like,
yeah.
Hey, you try it first, and then I'll eat it.
This is the most I've ever seen anybody get excited for a salad.
Nah.
Hey, I'm trying to be healthy.
Good for you.
Yeah. That's been a pain in the butt cutting sugar out of my life.
Yeah. That's America for you.
Yep. It's freaking in everything. I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, I haven't had any sugar. And then I did my blood test. They're like, your blood sugar is very high. I'm like, I didn't have any sugar. I'm like, oh, my wife's like, there's this, and this. I'm like, oh, fudge sakes.
It's because all the simple carbs break down to simple sugars, right? So if you eat something that's more highly processed, it breaks down to simple sugars faster.
Moments like this that make me glad I'm not diabetic.
Yep. It makes life harder, but I have this thing.
Oh, you have a patch.
Yeah. Thank you, genetics.
It just means that when you do very well when things are starved. I think that's where that area of the world.
Yeah.
That a lot of that comes from.
I just wish I got the cool mutation. I just got extra teeth, which they had to charge me for when they pulled them out. Like I had extra wisdom teeth. So when they pulled them out, they charged me extra.
Oh, man.
Of course they did. And that was my mutation.
Nice. Well, maybe there's another mutation that's like very dormant and active, like near death, or like something crazy's happening. Superpowers.
My kids got a really cool mutation. Their eyes change color.
What?
Yeah, my daughters have blue eyes, and they're either blue, green, or grayish blue.
Whoa.
Depending on the light. I find that depending on the sun, it'll change. That's what'll affect it.
I think the same
I was like, my eyes have that. I
Yeah.
go from more of a brown to a green, depending on the lighting.
Yeah, mine are like blue. They get dark blue or really light. Sometimes like
Yeah, I
See, you
got
have a
not.
mutation. Everyone who has blue eyes was related to each other at some point. It's only one genetic mutation.
Huh.
Well, I got ammo.
So I guess everyone's related to my
way,
mom.
way back when. But yeah, blue eyes because it's recessive. It's just one. When they did the human genome sequence, it's only one mutation, so it's the same mutation. So it
Wow.
wouldn't have happened twice. It only happened once.
Yeah, I didn't get those eyes from my mom. She has she has green eyes. My grandmother has blue eyes. So no, I didn't get any cool things. I just got these chocolate brown eyes.
Yeah.
Sorry, your mom has
Green eyes.
Sorry.
My grandmother has blue eyes.
Yeah, so you carry you would carry a green eye in there.
Yeah.
Underneath your darker eye.
Yeah, I'm a half breed.
Because
So.
genetics are fun.
A mudblood.
Oh. Yes, a mudblood.
Mudblood.
Yeah. So, speaking of Harry Potter, has anyone played the Harry Potter game?
Not really.
That's surprisingly good.
I was going to say, I knew lots of people playing the Harry Potter Go game that came out when Pokemon Go first came.
Oh,
but
that was
then
a
they
thing.
discontinued that.
Yeah, that whole
That
Go
was a
thing
thing.
was
It was a thing for like 2 years.
The only Go that's still relative is Pokemon Go. I mean, it's not as popular as it once was because a lot of the people who played it are dead, but you still got a good fan group.
I remember when it was like freaking Woodstock. Like all these people were playing in the park. They had all their music going.
It was
and like
insane when it first came out because I had it on my phone when it first came out, and I remember because before Niantic cracked down, there was like a Pokemon tracker, so you could like sit at home and you could look on your phone and be like, oh, there's this type of Pokemon that's going to spawn, 20 minutes that way in like 20 minutes. So you're like, hop in the car, away you go. If you don't live right in town that you can walk easily. But I remember like I was in a park with like 30 kids because they're all kids to me. And I'm sitting there on my phone. I'm like, there's a Lapras. And like people were jumping out of cars to go chase this Lapras. Like it was hilarious.
Wow.
And they're like, did your mom let you stay out late too? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Let's go hunt the Lapras.
Yeah, my daughter was in the stroller at that time, and now she's almost bigger than me.
Wow.
Yeah, she got my wife's family's genes, and they're like freaking like this. Like all her aunts and uncles are like, shh. And my mother-in-law is.
But I think everybody got anything fun planned for the weekend?
I'm thinking of I'm gonna do my shameless promotion since I'm gonna tie it in. I'm gonna catalog my gaming library because we are now on Rent Anything. So we have an exclusive gaming package. So we got like little television sets with consoles. We even have this nifty VR thing. So we have two different VR headsets. We have the Meta Quest and we have the PSVR 2. And they're both cross compatible, the games on it. So you guys can have the different experience of the different headsets while playing at the same thing. And they're pretty good, like quality wise. And for any of those that get the gaming package for a weekend, or a day or whatever, we're giving away a special promo. The next 30 people will get a chance to win one of these headsets that comes with Batman.
Batman?
Yeah, Batman on VR. So like you can like use a grappling hook. There's this thing where you use the cape to glide. So you have to hold your thing out like this and you'll actually glide.
Whoa.
And you do the punches like this and then block. And you can throw batarangs.
How is it that we have so many billionaires in this country, but none of them decided to become Batman?
That we know of.
I'll do it.
Maybe that's why they're so rich they cover it up.
Or maybe none of them saw their parents' death yet. Do any of these billionaires have kids?
Or they're secretly billionaires and they're just giving all of their money to charity, making they live at a shack.
It's like,
All their
I'm gonna do all this secret Batman shit, but like tell nobody that I'm actually doing this secret Batman shit.
I know there's gonna be a password and everything.
Which, by the way, in case anybody recognizes that voice later on, I'm actually going to be playing Batman in the Monday Suicide Squad series. It's an audio series like X-Men, but it's all the Suicide Squad jobs Amanda Waller puts them on when she just doesn't feel like doing some shit. Like, she'll literally have her, some of these people doing grocery shopping pick up her dress, ship this crocodile to a zoo,
That before
stuff like that.
sounds like the first.
It's like it's the non-life-threatening stuff that you don't always see.
Right.
I mean, technically, it's life-threatening since they have the bombs in their neck, but it's not like
It's the Monday
a giant star monster.
chores.
Yeah, just like being a person.
Yeah,
It's like
well,
they're
it's more like day laborers instead of secret agents.
it's like lightweight Alfred work.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, we're already halfway through the first episode. That team consists of Ratcatcher, Clock King, Harley Quinn, Bane, and one other I'm spacing out on.
Iceman?
No, that's Marvel.
No, I'm not. I mean,
You mean Mr. Freeze?
Freeze. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't Mr. Freeze either. It was somebody else. Clock King, Bane,
The Riddler.
Harley Quinn, Clock King.
Clock King.
Yeah, his whole thing is punctuality. See, Batman's got a lot of villains. Not all of them are as well known as
Calendar
Joker.
Man?
No, it wasn't Calendar Man.
Condiment Man? Is that his name?
No, it wasn't a Batman
Is it
villain.
Captain Cold? Was it Captain Cold?
Batman.
No, but I should do
Boomerang?
all the ice villains.
Is an ice villain?
Hang on, I can actually let you know in like 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. Did Mr. Freeze? That's why.
It's gonna kill me now.
Yeah. What villain belong to? What hero or she go to?
Although it is funny how many DC villains have ice-based powers. Mr. Freeze, Icicle,
lot.
Captain Cold, Killer Frost.
Killer Frost. Yeah.
Let's see.
Like they could freaking make a whole team about that.
Probably. Elemental separate from powers. Like, that would be a very interesting.
Oh, wait. It was Katana. Katana, Bane, Ratcatcher, Clock King, and Harley Quinn.
Huh.
But she's more like the Justice League agent that has to babysit them. So it's really those four.
Have you seen it's on HBO. It's called Titans.
No, is it good?
Is it the live action?
Is that the one
Teen
where
Titans, right?
Starfire looks like a stripper?
I don't know. I
I mean, Starfire looked like a stripper to start with, so
I'd say more like a burlesque girl than a stripper.
I mean, she's pretty, but she doesn't have the same complexion as in Teen Titans.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
You already know what I'm talking about.
She's based more, I think, on the original depictions of her with the red curly hair. Because I think that's where they took her costume from, was like the OG Starfire, which is very different from what we're used to, because we're used to being introduced to that character via Teen Titans.
I think you're right.
Okay, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about now.
Really good.
I watched the first season of it. It didn't catch my attention, but my husband really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way they did. The way he got like his own little hideout.
I think the real question is, what did everybody think of Penguin?
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
It felt too Martin Scorsese for me.
I mean, it's up for awards. Apparently, it did really well that way.
But I mean, the quality of programming is obviously not the same of what it was back then. So I mean, just because it wins an award now doesn't inherently mean it's good.
No, but usually doesn't mean it's bad. Usually,
like the quality of CGI.
Like, I mean, if we're going to make any Batman villain like a mob-esque thing, like I would have gone with Rupert Thorne or Black Mask or something like that instead of Penguin.
I think they chose because of that.
What was that?
The show Gotham.
You're doing that thing where you're breaking up again.
Gotham.
I never watched Gotham either.
Yeah, the only two good Penguins really are DCAU Penguin and Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
And
What do you think of the new animated Batman series that they gender swapped Penguin?
I wanted to like that series. I really did. It was a nice tongue-in-cheek to the DCAU, but it just seemed to be lacking something. Also, Oswalda Cobblepot, really? That's the best you could come up with? Oswalda?
Yeah, it's not great. I was like, I only caught the first episode, and I was like, out of all the ones that would be easy to gender swap, I was like, Penguin would be work well in a mob situation.
Minnie Driver is phenomenal. In her role, she was great in, I believe she was in Princess Mononoke, or I could be wrong with the other, what you call it, the Ghibli dubbed films, but I wanted to like it. I really did. It just wasn't as great as some of the other DC animated works, which is a shame because DC is known for their animation.
I'd say their animation is better than any of their movies ever.
Well, hang on. Now, let's put a pin in that. I mean, if it wasn't for Tim Burton, we wouldn't have the DCAU and, by extension, several of the animated properties.
True. Those two movies are the golden age of DC movies.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Carrey did good as Joseph Riddler, though. I think we should be honest about that.
Jim Carrey's good in everything, even if it's a bad movie.
I was going to say, I think the DC animated stable of films has not been as good lately as it has been, though. Because before it was like, oh, DC animated project, they're awesome. The past couple ones haven't been as
captivating,
interesting. I don't know. Yeah, it's like, okay, we're watching it on the background. I'm not really vested in it whatsoever.
They've been very hit or miss lately.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's just a superhero fatigue thing that we all are experiencing across the board.
No, but they actually do make a reference to that in it was a Rick and Morty episode. It's when the dinosaurs came back to Earth, It's like, well, why don't you guys keep doing what you love? You like making Marvel movies. How many have you made so far? 27? Why don't you do more of those?
How many Marvel movies have been made?
Like in general, or are we talking DCAU? I mean, Marvel.
The MCU.
Sorry, MCU. Yeah, thank you. Like, duh.
I do not know the number. It is a lot.
Because if we're talking the stuff that happened before Spider-Man, you got like Elektra, you got Howard the Duck.
I thought Elektra.
Well, that era when Marvel was Marvel, but not official Marvel, like your Fantastic Fours, your Elektra, your Daredevils, your Punishers, Ghost Riders, X-Men, that kind of MCU, air quoting.
But that's not MCU.
The faux MCU. This is the MCU we have
the
at home.
Pre-MCU.
The PMCU.
Yeah.
And then you got it when Iron Man got that shit going. And then when he died, it's kind of been yo-yoing. It's like Multiverse Spider-Man.
And I think it's all has to do with Robert Downey Jr. So they're just like, well, fine, the MCU is not doing as well, so let's bring him back as Dr. Doom.
Although, to be fair, in the
Chris
comic,
Evans
there was an alternate reality where freaking Iron Man became Dr. Doom. So it's not like it just came out of nowhere.
No,
but to be fair, Robert Downey Jr. can play a lot of different characters. Like when he played in Tropic Thunder.
Make him the next Black Panther.
Yes.
Dude.
I would pay to see that. I'm
a superhero disguised as another superhero playing another superhero.
Yeah. I think it would be a better comic at that point.
Like Into the Downeyverse.
Yeah,
that one did so much better in my head.
Yes.
Downeyverse.
Well,
if they hadn't canceled What If, they could have done that.
Please don't mention What If. I'm still getting over that god-awful Howard the Duck episode.
What, you're not scarred from...
Although, here's what I don't understand. Darcy was human, so shouldn't she have given birth to a live kid?
It's one of those, it's a comic, you're just going to go, sure, that's what they're doing with it. There's no point in going over the fact that
yeah, all right.
Ducks don't have XY chromosomes; they have WY chromosomes, and anyway.
And a corkscrew penis. Seriously, look that up.
Yes. Chickens have a slide, but it's not as cool.
It is time for bestiality. Woo!
It's interspecies erotica.
Yeah, anime did that way back in the 2000s. Yeah, it's like Funimation only made one episode of it. Then they realized
of what?
It's called Interspecies Reviewers. It's like, you ever play D&D?
Yes.
Okay, it's that, except they're screwing different women of different races and then rating their performance afterwards. Yeah, Funimation only dubbed it once, one episode, and then they realized that this is basically porn, so we're going to stop dubbing it. They just got the one episode. Yeah, they gave it what I call the 4Kids One Piece treatment, where they really didn't look into it.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah.
I mean, now they just, well, it's not interspecies. I was like, now they have B-Stars, which is just, you know.
Well, actually, season 3, they did have some interspecies stuff going on there.
Yeah, no, like, they had the carnivores mixed with the herbivore.
Well, that, and spoiler alert, Legoshi is part Komodo dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why not?
They had to explain why he was so freakishly tall. That's why.
Yeah, all right.
That's
I
pretty
can
much
do that.
it. They're like, why is this gray wolf bigger than any other of the gray wolves? Oh, it's because he's half Komodo dragon, because that clearly makes sense.
Well, technically,
Sometimes
quarter,
I
but
wonder
yeah.
how much coke these guys are on when they make that.
Well, it's Japan.
If you've ever... Have you seen Space Dandy? Lots.
Space Dandy.
Lots.
He's a dandy guy
Space Dandy.
in space.
In space.
It's like, Mom, I want
It's a
Cowboy.
fabulous series.
This is the Cowboy Bebop we have at home. Deal with it. That said, it is a good show, though. It's like definitely one of those anime you want to recommend to your friend, but it's not one of the best anime you want to recommend to your friend getting into anime.
No, you don't. That's not a beginner anime.
No, I'm saying somebody who's seen Pokemon and Digimon, and you want to slowly grab them into something else before you start introducing them into the high school DxDs, the Shimonetas, and prison schools of the anime world.
I mean, I was just impressed that it was a nonsensical show that made sense if you made it to the final episode.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
I'm impressed that they basically had space hooters. And I'm like, they basically got away with this.
They did it, yeah.
What did they call it? Boobies?
Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. It was a little on the nose for a subtle reference.
I mean, to be fair, what a lot of times in parodies happen, it's usually right there in front of you. Like, who remembers that anime? Bo 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 bo.
I remember it, but I never watched it. I just remember the name. I'm like, that is a dumb name. I'm not watching that one.
Yeah, it was a parody of an old school anime, Fist of the North Star. Only he practices Fist of the Nose hair. That was not a subtle reference. But then again, Panty and Stocking did a Transformers reference. Like the whole episode was dedicated to Transformers. It was the Panty Bots and the Stocking Cons.
Did you guys ever see the 80s Turtles that we grew up with? How they did the 80s Turtles in Japan?
Yeah, they had.
And they have fairies, and then they have their own mechs.
Huh.
It's bizarre.
I do remember the Spider-Man one.
Oh yeah, the Japanese Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, only they didn't call him Spider-Man. It was like Spider-Man or something like that. X-Men anime was actually pretty good, though.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's pretty good. They did another one too, but it wasn't as good. They did an X-Men one.
Wolverine one. They did Marvel Disc Wars, which we don't talk about. They did a Blade one.
They did an Iron Man one, I think.
Oh yeah, they did, but that was like not really memorable.
I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't very good.
No.
Because we watched the X-Men one, we're like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then I think we started watching the Iron Man, we're like, yeah, this one's not. Skip.
I mean, he's better in movies than yeah, it's funny, it's like you got a shit ton of Marvel characters, but when you look at them, it's like, who's best for TV shows, who's best for movies, and who can work with both? I mean, let's face it, Fantastic Four obviously works better with TV shows than they do movies. Like, the amount of money Hollywood invested in Fantastic Four, we could have had a living Fantastic Four.
Which one?
Yes.
Which version of Fantastic Four?
Yes.
First incarnation, second incarnation, or
Like
the fourth one
literally
that's
all
coming
that
out?
money from the first two movies, you combine it into one, you could at least have a couple teams of superhuman soldiers. Like one at minimal.
I'm sure they have a team of superhumans that we don't know about, or an army of Gundams somewhere.
With the technology we have today, yeah, that should be all over the net.
No, that's why they're banning TikTok so that people can't tell them that they're existing.
Yes, that's why it's banning TikTok. China has nothing to do with it. But anyway, TikTok, are we really going to miss it? Personally, I never got into it.
Either. I got banned
I think
for TikTok.
Do I
you
want to
got
know
banned from
how or
TikTok.
why?
Yeah, I was fire. I was playing with fire, and it's not allowed to. You're not allowed to do things that are like extremely dangerous.
Like Jackass playing with fire,
I
or
like fire.
more like sending dick pics to people playing with fire?
No, like actual fire performer stuff, and doing parkour, like jumping from building to building. There's certain things that are just not allowed on TikTok. That are just they see it as a red flag.
Yeah, they took down my
Oh.
video of me making frog juice. It's
The fuck is frog juice?
ever see Lost Boys 2?
No.
Focuses more on the frog with Edgar Frog. He actually makes this concoction where he says, "Okay, this is holy water, garlic, and raw eggs," and he shakes it up and he drinks it. So I made a cocktail version of it.
And you got banned.
Yeah, no, I didn't get banned, but my video got taken down. And I'm like, well, how come there's videos of this guy shilling beer?
Yeah, there's some people shooting guns in videos, and they didn't get banned. I'm like,
Well,
why?
because it's like the most.
Yeah, I was like,
American
I've
shit
seen
ever.
lots of worse stuff on TikTok going just perusing through
Please.
it than either of the
Because
things that
the
you
gun
told
is
me.
the state bird. Like, howdy, folks. My name's there, Billy Bob, Billy Bob, Billy Bob, 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 and there them go. Look at my guns.
Right?
I was like, I think certain people are going to really miss TikTok. I feel bad for any of the content creators in the States that was their source of income was on TikTok, because unlike in Canada, when you actually get paid when your videos go viral.
Wow. Moving.
Yeah.
Right now. All right, moving.
And there was our world's smallest violin playing for you, TikTokers.
Put the mic closer.
No, but I was gonna say, but I mean, anyone who makes any sort of extra income on like YouTube or TikTok or any of the social media platforms, like if it suddenly goes like this and it's gone, that really sucks for those creators. Like if you have a pretty big following
It's
and you're getting
unfortunate that they are no longer entitled to that income. I'm going to agree with you on that. But they knew they were playing with fire.
But I think the joke of it is like there's a lot of people that are leaving TikTok and going to Redbox, I think it is, or Red Letter or whatever, which is like
hang on, I can let you know in a
straight
minute.
Chinese.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a huge flocking of people that are going from TikTok to this Redbox thing because they're like, well, fine, we don't want to have. We're just gonna go hang out with our Chinese spies on the actual Chinese spy site.
Okay, yeah, it's Red Note, by the way.
Yeah, Red Note.
Which I cannot strongly say this enough. I recommend you don't doing.
No. But it's just funny that a lot of people in the States are just like, okay, we're going to go to this if we can't get.
You know what all those TikTok people remind me of? You ever see Mad TV?
A long time ago.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember Stewart?
No.
The guy, the ginger?
He's kind of like mentally impaired. He's got his mom's
always. That's like the. Are you talking about the one that's
Look what I can do! Look what I can do!
That's Saturday Night Live, I think.
No, that was Mad TV.
I'm pretty sure Saturday Night Live. But I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's the guy from Reno 911, right? Same guy?
No, dude, Mad TV.
It's not the same actor?
No, different. I don't know if it was the same actor. I think it was on the same bit as Homie the Clown. Oh no, wait, that was In Living Color.
I remember Stewart. Like a giant baby, an adult baby, right?
He's more like a man-child than anything else, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember that skit going
Yeah, it's literally what the people there remind me of.
on TikTok.
Yeah, like what I can do. Like what I can do.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's like any video platform. Like you're gonna get that on any video platform. You get those ones on YouTube too. Pre-short.
Yeah, but at least YouTube's are either reaction stuff, which I still don't entirely understand, or you're actually learning how to do something. Like one of those video
Oh
tutorials.
no, there's lots more stuff on YouTube than that. There's those stupid, shitty content firms that are aimed for young kids, and it's like mindless dribble and
Yeah, like reaction videos. Like, oh my god, did you see that? I'm so surprised.
no. It's like they're literally like people just running around in costumes or like running with toys or smushing
I've seen
things
those. That's
or
so stupid.
yeah,
Or that damn kid that plays with toys that's a freaking millionaire because of all the toys.
Ryan's World.
Yes.
Ryan's World. Or Blippi.
Oh god.
Or actually, you know who's funny that started off on YouTube? Michael Cusack. He's hilarious.
I was like, again, it's like TikTok and
Yeah, but at least he created his own stuff. It started off with like Bush League Adventures of Rick and Morty, but then he made his own show for Adult Swim. Smiling Friends, I think it is. Yeah, it's Smiling Friends. Yeah, he actually is one of the recurring I would say one of the guest characters in Hell of a Boss, if you haven't seen it. He voices Mammon, and it works because he's got the hilariously Australian accent. Like, less Steve Irwin-y, more cliche Crocodile Dundee-y.
oh, he plays Strider in Helva, doesn't he? Is it Strider?
No, Mammon, actually. You know, the guy that kind of looks like a Christmas tree?
Oh, okay. Oh, him. Okay. Sorry, you were saying Australian accent, and I'm like, the snake has an Australian accent.
No, more like a Western thing. Like, discount, who's that guy that did all those Western movies?
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, like discount Clint Eastwood. Good series overall, though.
Excellent series overall.
Kind of curious how they do season 3.
I just like that the voice actor for Blitz keeps crashing all the Has-Been Hotel panels at all the Comic-Cons.
Oh, Brandon Rogers? Yeah, he's awesome.
They're like, we're doing a Has-Been Hotel panel. Not a Hell of a Boss panel, Has-Been Hotel. And he'll just be like, well, I'm showing up at this panel anyway.
Although, to be fair, he does actually have a role in Has-Been Hotel.
Okay, very minor role, but he wasn't invited to these particular panels because they were just
we got
actors.
our first comment of the evening.
Hey, man. Hey, guys. How's life?
Check
Who's
out
the
our
man?
friend.
Who's
Check out
the-
our friend at Barbaric Ape Productions. He's doing his own anime series on YouTube.
Is it
And
an
he-
anime series if it's
Well-
not in Japan?
Animated. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, there we go.
He actually has famous voice actors like Chuck Huber and Linda Young as voice actors on the show.
Nice.
It looks like it's
Very cool.
computer generated, but it looks really good.
Oh,
Cool.
what's his
And
handle on social media? Maybe we could do a collaboration.
it's Barbaric Ape Productions. But yeah, that's his handle.
I'm gonna add that.
Oh, there we go. Thanks, man. Yeah, no problem. Where I met him on Twitter or something, maybe on YouTube, and we've been
Or the
chatting.
platform formerly known as Twitter.
I still call it Twitter.
Well, regardless of what it's called now, yes, that. It's not we're talking about Twitter. You know what really confuses me? Black Panther. Why this? I think X-Men when I see this. Like, why not do a
But
W?
isn't that the?
Yeah, like, see, this looks
But
more like a
isn't that-
W. Wakanda forever.
But isn't that? But isn't that what they did in the actual the group Black Panthers in the 50s?
I don't
Like
recall.
the radical group?
I don't think so.
I think that's why they. Okay.
Funny story,
I
and
don't.
Bleach, they did that pose first with that guy that does that reality TV show. He would go, "Pooh, ha, ha, ha."
Yeah, I always think of Don Kanoji from Bleach when I hear that.
Yes.
Whoa, ha, ha, ha.
Whoa, ha, ha. Yes,
But no,
we're
I'm just saying,
talking
this would be
about
cooler.
X-Men,
It
but
looks like
now
a
we're
cool
talking about
W, and you're
random.
flexing.
Yeah.
And to Barbaric Productions, feel free to click on the link below to catch the first episode, and stay tuned for Wolverine versus the Hulk.
Yeah, I'd like to have you on too, since we talk a lot. I'd love to promote your show.
And I'll see if I can get another X-Men cast member.
I could probably help.
And I believe he's always looking for voices. So anyone wants paid work.
Hey, stay away from my people.
I mean, hey, come on, man. I'm interested.
I see. He's making you an offer you can refuse.
Wait, what?
Money.
Offer? I don't see the offer. Do a double rock finger sign, Wakanda forever. A double rock finger. This
What
rock.
is it? Oh, I get it.
Oh, hold on.
Yes. Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
I'm
that.
like playing that.
Oh, there we go.
That.
All right.
What?
Oh yeah.
Why do you get all the cool stuff?
Powers. I have superpowers.
It's because he's the X-Men. That's why.
Cool.
Nice. Cool. That was it. We'll try that again. No.
The one time only.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Speaking of X-Men in
Why did
80s,
it-
has anyone watched the 1980s Pride of the X-Men?
I saw that, and you know what's really pissing me off about a lot of the X-Men stuff? It's either Magneto or Days of Future Past or some Phoenix bullshit. It's like, dude, you got so many X-Men characters to work with. Just do something fun with that. Like for those of you that don't know, I'm doing Mojo for the Undateable X-Men, and he's kind of a weird love child between Gilbert Gottfried and Kim Jong-il from Team America World Police. So he's both loud and obnoxious, and he talks really fast. Like, I could do from for a bit, but I can't do it for really long, so it puts a lot of the throat. It's like, hey, Spiral, do you have any idea how fucking busy I am? Hello? It's like a very loud and annoying.
You know,
The more
they
obnoxious
should,
the better.
they should make a live action Powerpuff Girls.
I heard they
Is that
tried
something you
to.
want, though?
Huh?
I mean, those big ass eyes, those
Yeah. Gotta happen.
those fingerless hands,
Yeah, it's gotta happen.
those heads.
I heard
the
they were
sides.
trying to do it. It was supposed to be more adult, and the girls were just hooking up. It was more about sexy time, and the whole Powerpuff Girl was like what I don't.
Yeah, I think
can't
that's a
think
good
of-
place to stop.
propaganda. It was all
Really? Really? It doesn't always have to be sexy time.
Well, on that note, tonight has been a fun episode.
where anything goes on 8-Bit Shinobi.
Bro, it's Powerpuff Girls. They're little girls.
Seriously.
Be nice.
No, they made them
Be cool.
teenagers or young adults.
Well, they're in charge of saving the whole city. That's a lot of responsibility. I don't know. They might mature way differently than us.
But I'm like, what were they thinking? The Powerpuff Girls.
This is where one of those things is like, if you want to do your own IP, do your own IP. Don't attach something on to try to win nostalgia points and then change the IP.
Then you're just gonna piss off everyone.
Exactly.
I didn't make a Powerpuff Girls movie.
All right then. So, 8-bit, thanks for having us on.
No problem.
Yes, thank you very much.
And
you
make
guys
sure
are
to
not-
follow everyone's link. And
I was like,
also
and if you're
join
not-
my mailing list, which is in the description. Come on.
If you're not doing anything February 21st, 23rd, come hang out with me at Kanji Geeks at Home.
And if you're
Where
looking to get into
discussions
voice
like this occur on Discord.
And if you want to get into voice acting or cosplaying promotion, feel free to hit me up at Tyler Brook, Facebook, Instagram, TylerBrook111 on Instagram, or shoot me an email, tylerbrook111@gmail.com.
And if you're wondering where you can find more of me, you can look me up on Instagram @hi call me Chris. So just like that, hi call me Chris. I do directing. I'm a writer. I'm a voice actor. Stunts. Real life superhero right there. Just look me up, Chris Booth.
Oh, we need to have you on more often.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to make these things more regular.
I'm down. Yeah, add me on Instagram. I think we just added me on Facebook, right?
Yeah, that was me.
That was
Sean Deanne.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, I'd love to be on the show more often.
I've been trying to have it more on, but like kids, life, new job. It's
Yeah.
I'm starting to get back into it, like doing it every other weekend, and then trying to have like things to do with the kids on Friday night. So
Yeah.
oh, thank you again for coming on, and make sure to join my mailing list. We are creating our own comic book series. It's gonna be epic. We're gonna have some amazing voice actors. If you love fantasy, you love anime, this will be your jam. It follows a lot of the Japanese mythology, like fox spirits and all that. It's gonna be really cool. We're opening up a gaming bar, so follow us for all our information. We got a lot of cool things coming. And we got a lot of cool people on our channel. And we're doing a lot of cool giveaways. So follow us. Buy some stuff. Rent a gaming package. And definitely
Thank you very
check
much.
out.
It was lovely meeting everyone.
Peace out.
This is 8-Bit Shinobi signing out.
Have a good one. Peace.